So, I wanted to make this video prior to starting a medication called Contrave. And there's really not a lot of information about it, so I went as far as to watch maybe about 60 videos on it before making my own personal decision to go ahead and start it. So I went to the website, did my telepsych appointment, go coronavirus, so I didn't really have to go to the doctor. Paid for the prescription, paid for the mailing service to deliver the medication to my door. And the medication is set to be here sometime in the beginning of next week. So with that, I wanted to give, whoever's watching this, a little bit of insight. I am at my absolute heaviest weight right now that I've ever been in my entire life, besides pregnancy. I'm currently 271.8 pounds. A lot of people are like, oh, well, you don't look like you're that big. No, but I feel it. And to top that off, I am only 5'3". So I'm not that tall either. I am a full-time working mom. I'm a nurse. I work night shift. My kids all range in age from 12 to almost 2. And there's no more kids in my future. Yes, I did learn my lesson the hard way. I'm married. I live a pretty active lifestyle. Constantly go with the kids and working. I work 5 nights a week. And I think what I'm realizing is I have an emotional attachment to food. I eat when I'm angry. I eat when I'm depressed. I eat when my anxiety's through the roof. I eat because there's nothing else to do. And that relationship in itself, I think, is detrimental to my health, at least at this point. I do have contributing comorbidities to my increased weight. I do have stage 2 hypertension. I have severe anxiety that I never had before, gaining all the weight that I have. My cholesterol levels are through the roof. Well, the bad cholesterol is through the roof. And let's see, what was the other one? My triglycerides are high. My blood pressure's high. I have an increased risk for stage 2 or type 2 diabetes, which medically speaking you can go from type 2 to type 1, but you can't go backwards from type 1 down to type 2. So pretty much once your body develops that insulin resistance, that's it. There's no coming back from that. I also have polycystic ovarian syndrome. I've had that since I was 19 years old, which once you get, there's really no cure for that either. You can manage the symptoms, but you can't cure that. That in itself, you run the risk of, literally, the name is right there, you can pop cysts on your ovaries, which is extremely painful. You reduce the risk of being able to have children or carry children to term. So there's a lot that goes into that. It also causes you to be insulin resistant. Not that you don't have an insulin production, just your body just doesn't take it well. So with all of those contributing factors, a lot of which came with the weight, a lot of them came with the more stress I was under, the more weight that I would gain because the more I would eat. So basically, I wanted to give myself a rundown and have this video to go back and look at even in a year, in 2 years, and see where I started, which, like I said, I'm at my top weight right now. And based on my abdominal measurements, they came out to be 55 inches in circumference. And menstruating or not, at this weight, you don't notice that 5 or 10 pound monthly weight bloat that most people would. At least I haven't. Because it's probably more or less just bloating at this point than it was anything else. But how I started to discover that I needed to do something about my weight wasn't just, oh, well, you don't fit in anything but leggings. No, it wasn't that at all. Because even when I was thin, I wore leggings. They're comfortable. I was sitting on the back porch talking to my husband, and I heard a noise inside, and I think it was one of the kids was screaming. Unbeknownst to me, that's what they do for fun, I think. But I turned to the side, and I seen my face in the reflection of the door. And I went, oh my God, I have no neck. My neck is gone. And my husband comes back outside, and I'm like petrified. And he's like, well, you look like you've seen a ghost. I'm like, yeah, well, pretty much have. I have no neck left. And he goes, you have a neck? What are you talking about? I'm like, look. I said, all this, it should not be one piece. There should be definition in your face to where you can see your neck and you can see your chin. Not all one piece. I said, what happened? I said, and when did I let myself go to this depth? When did I let myself get to this point? And he couldn't even tell me. So this isn't something that's obviously ballooned overnight. I didn't go from my prime weight of 170 pounds 10 years ago to 100 pounds plus over that overnight. It's just not something that seamlessly has happened. But I have tried other weight loss, diet pills, diets in general, and so none of them have worked. I've tried the Adipex. I've done the HCG diet with the injectable HCG and the injectable B12 and taking vitamin D every day. And that worked fine for a little while. The problem is that medications like that you cannot take every day for a long period of time. Even with Adipex or phentermine, you can only take that medication at max for 3 months at a time before you have to stop and cycle off. And then you have to cycle back onto it. So it kind of puts your body in that potential spot for plateau where you just stop gaining or losing weight. And during that time that you're off the medication is when you gain most of your weight back. What I found with this medication that I'm starting when it comes in, and I'll do an update once the medication comes in, is that it's approved for long-term use. It's medication that you can continually take pretty much the rest of your life just for weight maintenance. But for me to take a pill to stop the cravings is worth it. To lose the weight that I need is worth it. Because I'm only 31 years old. I have all these contributing health factors that eventually will put me in a grave. I've got 4 kids to live for. I can't continue to live my life to the point where one day I can have a stroke, one day I can have a heart attack, and it'll all be because I have morbid obesity and I have comorbidities that I could have fixed had I had tried a little bit harder to lose the weight. Well, this is me giving it a last-ditch effort. This is possibly the only thing that's going to work for me after everything I've tried. After everything. After Atkins, after Weight Watchers, after Hydroxycut when that was popular, after taking Adipex, after doing the HCG diet, after doing the diabetic diet where you eat 6 small meals a day and increase your water consumption, after doing just strictly cardio and diet exercise alone and cutting carbs and cutting sugars, and I've tried them all. And I've done crash dieting, I've done intermittent fasting, and nothing that I have done worked yet. So this is my last shot to try to get things right. It's not to say that I'm not going to have to change the way that I'm eating now. It's not to say that I'm not going to have to increase my activity level. And I'm fine with that. I'm just hoping this medication does what it's supposed to do. So, once the medication comes in, I'll do an update and we'll see how things go from there.